tell me that having a high level of woo and being very loud isn't successful. How do you say no to that?
That's exactly what a high woo person would say, isn't it?
True.
I feel like my more calm excitement does the same thing in a different way.
I don't know, Joe. I cried and took a long time to make a decision with you, and I said yes right away with Danielle. So
this is the true reason why we brought you guys here today, or I brought you here, because how could you guys bring Cooper into Royal? What were you guys thinking?
Let's just throw it all out here to start with. It was a
curious
stretch.
too.
I mean, it was a stretch. But sometimes...
So I'm going to add this episode to my LinkedIn profile. Got it.
Just picture this, though. If there were such a thing, and maybe there is, if you swing down to my office, you might see these. But there's the hire or to not hire dice. Okay?
I've never seen these dice.
And you might
That was
just
a game of
shake it
chance.
and just see what it says.
I thought you were going to talk about your ugly Vikings,
Oof.
like tablecloths on your
Throwing
desk.
darts already. I
We
like
don't
it.
talk about
it.
that.
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, Skol.
No.
It's a whole new generation
I
happening
can't.
in Minnesota.
My
over there.
headphones are broken. It's good to have the confidence and, the willpower to hang in there. I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
I just think it makes us stronger as human beings, as sports fans, really any Minnesota sport, fan. There's a lot of resiliency, and we're never gonna give up.
I will agree. Being a Wild fan, I feel that.
See?
They did really great this year, though. So.
Yep.
It's actually in my contract. Anytime somebody talks about the Vikings, I have to cut it out of the podcast. So I apologize for that. Can you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I am Danielle Geisler. I have been with Royal for 2.5 years, and I'm an organizational talent advisor too, or as we call ourselves, ODAs.
Ooh, I didn't know
It's kind
that.
of catchy.
I like it.
Otis.
If you're looking for an Oda,
If you're looking for an ODA,
Do other places call their people ODAs?
probably not.
Is there like a layperson's term that, what does that really mean?
Basically, we're an HR generalist.
generalist. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to explain it.
And for someone like me who doesn't know anything about HR, like generalist, can you talk about that just briefly?
They do general HR things.
Like what?
I don't know.
All things HR.
All things HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone's like, I need to talk to HR. Like you guys are like, you're
We're
on the
it.
other end of the phone. Okay.
Yep.
That's
Got
us.
it.
Yep.
I'm going to put a plug in here. If Royal let us all pick what our titles are, and then we got to put that on our name tag.
If you could pick your own job title,
What would it be?
what would it be?
Let's do it right now. What will yours be?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Put you on the spot.
I know. Mine's, I don't know. I do all the things. Chaos coordinator, probably.
James, do you have one?
I think, I don't know, like words guy or something, words person,
Word master.
Word master.
something like that. Yeah.
It's catchy.
Mine would just be human.
What?
Yeah.
Pick something more exciting.
Yeah.
No, this is my title. I get to pick what I want. Don't judge my title.
I'm not judging you. I just made a suggestion.
Okay.
Could it be like video sizzle guy?
Ooh.
Ooh, how about let's take the video out and just sizzle guy. Steve
Brings the sizzle.
I like it.
Steve the sizzle guy. I love it. Thanks, Joe.
Can sell that on the street corner.
I think he's going to expect that on a name tag and delivered to his
Yeah,
desk.
exactly. We could probably make that happen.
We got to get an introduction from Joe.
Yeah, we haven't got that yet.
So my name is Joe Underwood, Organizational Talent Advisor, Level 2 here at Royal Credit Union.
So before we get into everything, I wanted to ask, somebody might be listening to this right away looking for a job. What does Royal have to offer right now? Do we have any openings?
Oh, we have many amazing career opportunities for anyone listening. I would be willing to bet, Danielle, would you agree that anyone listening probably have an opportunity for them? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're moving. We're shaking.
You know, I like to leave this for the end, but let's just put it up in front. If they're looking for a position, where can they go to find our current positions?
Yeah, so you can hit our careers website, which is www.rcu.org/careers.
Throughout all of our offices, we have Minnesota branches that have openings, corporate, Chippewa Valley,
St. Croix Valley.
Rice Lake.
Yeah.
Are any of them remote? Because I feel like people care about that. I don't know. If you're allowed to say anything.
Yeah, I would say that there has definitely been a tremendous effort from Royal as an organization over the last 3 years, even prior to the pandemic, to push forward with remote and workplace flexibility. Outside of member-facing roles, there's definitely been a push forward for workplace flexibility and remote work. So in the job posting itself on the careers website, there's a percentage
Cool.
listed for how remote it is, and you can check that out.
I haven't looked at our openings for a while because I like my job, but that's good to know.
So if somebody's looking to apply for a job, let's talk about some tips and tricks, resumes, do's and don'ts. Do you have something for me? I am taking notes over here.
So
Better not be.
In a good way.
So do spritz a little cologne and or perfume or body spray on it. If you're going to hand it in person,
Do people still do that?
put a little sizzle in
That's what I asked him when he told me this.
Wait, you guys discussed that specific tip ahead of time?
A little bit.
there. We did.
Just high level.
Yeah. Because I said, here's what I would prefer. If I'm at a career fair or job fair, hiring fair, and someone hands me a resume, don't just have it smell like paper.
Do you want to be like Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde on pink paper and it's scented?
Yeah. I would appreciate
But
that.
couldn't that backfire for you? And what happens if you personally don't like that smell?
What if they're allergic?
Yeah. There's a risk.
A risk reward. It's a balance.
I'm willing to roll the dice like we did on Cooper when we hired her.
Literally roll the dice. That's how they decided. And it makes so much sense now.
You know what? I like it here. I'll take what I can get. That's how it had to happen. It had to happen, man.
It's a success story.
In fact, they brought your resume with them today so that we can actually review
Oh,
the do's and don'ts off
it's
of
on my
yours.
LinkedIn profile. Not the one I applied for that time, but like my professionally written one.
Is that a thing that we should do? Should we be putting our resumes on social media, specifically LinkedIn? Is that a good idea?
Yeah. I think that's a very sound practice. I think, going back to the do's, right? Make sure that the dang thing is updated with the most current information. To this day, we still receive resumes that are not current. And through conversation with candidates, they let us know about a certain experience level somewhere that wasn't listed on their resume, which is relevant to the role that they're applying for.
Sure.
So a sound recommendation would be to review and update the resume accordingly before submitting it to Royal.
Make sure you put end dates on there too. I've reviewed a lot of resumes that'll have like 2017 to present, 2018 to present. So it's like, are you working 3 jobs right now, or are we only at the one? So anything to make it as clear as possible for us recruiters that are reviewing up to 100 resumes a day is helpful.
What about that 1-page rule? Because like my resume, I've had a lot of jobs. I have 3 jobs right now. So mine doesn't really fit on 1 page anymore. Is that like a tried and true, we're not going to look at it if it doesn't? What's your best advice there?
I think if it's relevant, you keep it.
Okay.
And I think recruiters will definitely agree that the 1-page rule, we're busy. We're reviewing a ton of resumes a day. But if there's some relevant work experience that kind of trickles into page 2, I say you keep it.
And utilize the margins. Make it so that you're utilizing every space on the page
Oh.
and not just leaving blank space. That's always a one that we're like, well, we probably could have seen it all on 1 page, but you really spaced it out. So
Yeah, and people are getting creative. The word guy.
I was going to ask about that. Like, not the words, but the layout side of it, like colors and like a photo of yourself. Is that relevant? Does that matter? I mean, it makes you stand out, catches the eye, right?
Catches the eye. That's the goal, right?
makes you remember their resume. I've seen it where they like put their key objective or their main attributes on the side, and then they have the experience in the middle of it.
I like the meter, view of like, hey, Excel, let's say, and then there's a little bar that says
Proficiency
I'm
levels.
almost a
interesting.
master in Excel, and kind of list it that way. Gone are the days of kind of fitting within the 8.5 by 11 word format, and we're definitely seeing more creativity on utilizing all the square footage of the paper.
And I think too, just balancing like whatever job you're applying for, putting the relevant experience, and then maybe having an area that lists like other jobs to fill in the gaps if there's like time gaps between those jobs, just so that we can see it. I mean, we don't need to know if you worked at McDonald's for 3 years if it's not applicable to your marketing position you're applying to or something like that. So just kind of knowing the position you're applying for and what relevant experience kind of fits with it.
So should you be tailoring your resume to that position as you submit it.
Absolutely. Yep. 1,000%.
So not just cover letter, resume too.
Yep.
I think another don't would be make sure you put in your key objective the position you're applying for. If you're applying for a member account representative, but you say you're looking for a marketing position, that doesn't really relate to the position. So,
and the recruiters and hiring managers see that, and that can be kind of a negative right out of the chute that may impact your candidacy.
Is there too much sizzle that you can put on your resume?
For me, no. Nope. You sprinkle that sizzle anywhere.
That brings up the point of, should you do some research on even who's going to be looking at your resume off the bat and take a look and say, hey, Joe Underwood likes a little sizzle with his steak. Maybe I should
throw some sizzle with a steak. Yeah. No, I think so. I think that all goes back to step number one, study the organization, study other people maybe that work in that role, at Royal. And connect, right? So on social media platforms, networking groups, whatever the case may be, if you have an opportunity to get to know those people that work in that space, I couldn't recommend that anymore, because you're going to get a lot of information possibly from them that can either help you decide if you want to click that apply button or not. But yeah, I think it's wise to review and study kind of who's going to be looking at your resume and just see what their interests are maybe.
How have we not talked about what the donut for this episode is? Did you guys come up with it? This is Money Donuts. We got to talk about donuts. And what episode best describes the job search
market? Currently, how we're
let
sitting
me take
that?
a drink while I...
Is it just the crumbs that are left over? Just kidding.
No. I honestly think we're in a really interesting space where there's probably more jobs than people looking. So if you're looking for a new job, now is probably the great or best time to do it. We've had a lot of openings, and we haven't seen as many candidates as we're used to just because of the market. And I don't know if it's people not leaving or what it is, but it's definitely the time to look if you're interested in a new position.
To answer the question about a donut that might describe the market right now, I think it's a little bit of, you just take a chunk of each kind of donut in the display case and just smash it all together. And,
like a monster cookie, but
like a monster cookie,
in a donut.
And
Monster donut.
Just have at it, monster donut.
Perfect opportunity to edit in a monster donut, like a donut with a monster face.
Why is that? But why? We got to know why. Why is that the donut? Like, it's just a mishmash right now?
So I think it's a very unique recruiting space. As Danielle said, there are a ton of opportunities out there, and the shift has happened where the ball is essentially in the candidate, in their wheelhouse. They have an opportunity to kind of entertain all sorts of different flavors, per se, of the donut, and then take a bite of a little bit of each before they make a final decision on what they want to move forward with. There are many, many cases. We could probably talk all day about us extending an offer to a candidate, and they are very transparent, saying that, hey, I got a couple other offers, on the table here. I want to evaluate to make sure I'm making the right call. But man, Royal does a lot of amazing things. We offer a lot of different things, from, we could talk all day about the amazing benefits that we have, the culture that we have, the incredible development opportunities within the organization, our leadership, from the executive team down. There's a lot that as recruiters we have in our kind of our arsenal of, things that we can offer to team members or potential team members that really allow us to shine on the recruiting front.
Yeah. I'll put it a plug in for Royal. As people are looking for jobs, they're like, oh, financial, boring. That's just not what it's like here. It's seriously fun. Our executives will have impromptu fake snowball fights in the hallway, which is not something you see everywhere. And it is just really fun. And the opportunities are endless, and it's pretty cool.
I think opportunities, just to kind of frame that, we're looking at some numbers. Last year, get ready. Hang on tight, because this stat is incredible. 140 internal moves within the organization.
Holy buckets.
Wow.
That's a lot.
So we're about 660 team members large across all of Royal's footprint. 140 people moved at some point internally within Royal.
That's huge.
Insert
wow
factor right there.
I think the year before was about 100.
Yep.
Too.
Wow.
So it's consistent that we've been, internal moves.
Is that another tip that we could talk about? Is networking is such a big thing of when you get.
How do you network?
Oof. You got to crank that woo, you know? Just
yourself
turn that
out there.
woo knob all the way up.
Can we give our listeners a definition of woo? Let's help them out a little bit.
So the woo, I like to call it, is kind of here. Let me give you a little insight into how Joe starts
Oof.
his day.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Buckle up.
We said this was going to get weird.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird real fast, but hang on tight. You got a choice in the morning, right? So you wake up, you know, you shower, whatever, you're doing your hair. You know, I got a lot of hair to do. But one of the key contributing factors for me into cranking that woo knob all the way up is looking in the mirror saying, are you going to make some dreams come true today? Are you going to rock everything that you do? You respond with yes. Boy, that woo knob absolutely cranked to the highest level possible. But for the official Joe Underwood definition of woo, excitement, passion, energy, just that wow factor in every single thing that you do, every conversation you have, that's woo.
Okay, I like it. Approved.
Approved stamp. Insert approved stamp.
I do believe that Joe does that every morning. So I'm like, I
know. I'm sure he does. That should be our first Money Donuts t-shirt. Bring the woo.
Bring the woo.
Joe Underwood.
I forget why were we even talking about woo? I've totally lost track.
Networking.
Oh, because you got to bring the woo and networking.
Yeah. But again, maybe you don't. Right? maybe you don't.
You might scare some people.
Yeah.
It could be a little intimidating.
I'm attracted by woo.
As an introvert, I feel like my woo is low, so I bring in a different kind of vibe to the situation.
Your woo is low, but it's prominent.
But when it's there, it's there.
I mean, like you can feel it.
I think you have to have a good balance and be approachable. Sometimes I'm a little intimidated by Joe. I'm like, I don't know. I can't get there.
And then 2 minutes later, she's up to the level.
Woo is almost like being brave, putting yourself out there, just like not fake it till you make it, but like finding that energy inside you to put yourself out there. That's what woo and networking is all about.
Yeah, you need to show the world why you are it. Whatever it is, you got to show the world that you are it. So that's that internal drive, right? That don't be scared. You know, it's awkward for most people to just walk up to some random stranger and introduce yourself to them and, you know, start a conversation. And once you do it and you get a couple of experiences under your belt, it becomes less intimidating. But for networking, that's all it is awkward introductions, hopefully leading towards something really successful.
You know, like, is it important to be like your true self in an interview? I mean, I know we all kind of like, you know, might tone it down, but like bringing your personality and stuff, you know, it's important to be a fit in an organization.
Yeah, I think that's very important for us. And I think that's definitely something we look at when we're screening candidates and making sure that they do fit within the organization.
I think it's important to wear fancy socks as well.
That are visible?
If you interview. Yeah. So going back to
Why do you have taco socks
Taco
on?
Tuesday.
It's a donut
Well
podcast.
done.
Do you have donut socks?
You know, I didn't even think about Taco Tuesday. I just put on taco socks.
Do you have donut socks?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes, I do.
So think about this. Going back to the networking comment, there's nothing like fancy socks that can break that ice and break that barrier right away, because who knows, that conversation could go really well or it could be really painful and awkward. But if it's painful and awkward, you just flash a little sock and the sky's the limit after that.
I think you got to be careful with that to not break any
HR rules?
HR rules. Putting that out there.
I can pretty much guarantee that after this podcast goes out, every interview that Royal has in person, like every
there's gonna
candidate
be
is going to be wearing
some socks.
some
Flash
kind
of
of
socks.
sock. Like,
Okay,
You,
that'd
you
be
may want to ask.
pretty cool. I'm
You
not
know,
going to lie.
The manager at the time that hired me, it might be worth surveying. Did the socks make an impact in the hiring decision when I came in for my interview at Royal, my first interview?
Well, is she working today?
Yeah.
Well, let's
we should
ask her.
Should we call her?
Yeah.
Can we call?
So recap, we are calling Joe's boss to
Nicole Wilson.
see why she hired him.
And she's like the in charge
Actually,
lady
no,
now.
we're asking, did the
The
socks
socks.
impact
Oh, okay.
the hiring decision?
Okay.
She's gonna be like, Joe, I have no clue what you're talking about. That was 8 years ago.
Hold it up to the mic.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Nicole. you are live.
Phone was still forwarded.
Yeah, so you are live on the Money Donuts podcast here at Royal. Do you want to say hi to all the listeners?
Hello.
So we have a really important question to ask you, Nicole. And
Okay.
this is going to rewind your mind probably by about 8 years. Okay. And you have a younger Joe Underwood sitting across from you, being interviewed for the ODA role. The ultimate question, Nicole, did my fancy socks influence your hiring decision at all?
Well, it did bring a fun element that I was looking for to join the team. So I would have to say it may have had a slight impact.
All right.
What were the socks?
Oh,
I don't know, but they were crazy socks.
they were Argyle pattern.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't recall exactly what color because I was in an Argyle like frenzy at that point. I'll admit I probably had about 6 different Argyle pattern socks. But Nicole, yeah, we were just kind of talking about how, attire and fancy socks can influence and help awkward conversations at times become less awkward.
Right? They're a good conversation piece, and they also bring a flair to the personality, which is also an insight into that individual. So I think it played a factor in both those areas.
Great.
All right. Thanks for the insight, Nicole. We appreciate it.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye. Told you.
I can't believe that she was like, yeah,
I'm
from
really
8 years
surprised she
ago.
remembered.
Yeah.
It really must have made an impact on her. That's pretty cool.
I'm telling you should try it sometime.
I think that was a really good example of like royal leadership too, where she was like, you know what? I'm just going to embrace this question. Joe's calling me out of the blue. All right. So,
And she just came back from vacation too, so I'm sure she wasn't just sitting around waiting for
Yeah.
Joe to ask if socks influenced her hiring decision.
What are some other things that you should not do in interviews or resumes or applications that will get you just thrown out right away?
Yeah, I think meeting the minimum qualifications of the role, right? So there's a job posting for a reason. This is the at minimum kind of what we're looking for in a candidate. I'm a fan of shooting your shot, right? And trying to sling it out there if it makes sense. But if you're far from that minimum requirement, probably going to go right into the thanks, but no thanks.
And I would say too, especially if you're in an interview and we ask you, so how'd you hear about Royal? What do you know about us? And they have no answer. They've done no research. That doesn't make us feel like you want to be here. You're just looking for a job. And we want someone that is excited, has that woo, and is excited to start a career with Royal. So for me, that's really important.
can you negotiate your salary? Should that be your motivator for getting a job?
I think that depends, right?
It does,
On
yeah.
the applicant, the candidate, where they're at in their particular life. Everybody's in a different spot of the journey, whatever that journey is. Royal has a strong compensation philosophy, and that philosophy really comes down to paying our team members above market, what the average pay is, and I'm gonna put a little caveat there that with high pay comes high expectations for performance, right? So we want the best of the best on the Royal team. We're willing to pay for that, but along with that comes the expectation to execute, and I think that's important to know. But I think overall, right, wherever you're at in your life, if you're looking for an opportunity to maybe increase your income or earnings or expendable income, if you want internal fire is just burning in your belly to do something different and, expand maybe a skill set or an opportunity to get into something that you've never done before. All of that's okay. Again, Royal is just an incredible organization that kind of fosters all of that stuff. It all comes down to compensation, benefits, opportunities to continue to grow and develop, as a team member.
Yeah, I would say look at total rewards. So the overall, not just the dollar amount of what the offer is. Look at what benefits do they offer? What is it going to mean for what I have to pay out of pocket? Do they offer any of the benefits that are tuition reimbursement? We have tuition repayment that we help pay back for team members that already have their degree.
Student loan repayment.
I just signed up for that. So easy to get started. It was so easy.
And you don't have to do anything.
To do it. Yeah, it was awesome.
I took advantage of that right away because it's an extra $100 a month that goes towards your student loans.
Did I hear making it easy?
Making it easy.
Core value. Yeah. That's a core value.
And I think we don't just have our values on a wall and then forget them. We tie it into everything we do. Any decision we make for a member and how it's going to impact them, how it's going to impact the member. Is it going to make a difference? Is it doing the right thing? Is it making it easier for them? And we do the same thing for team members and candidates when we're recruiting, making sure we're making the process easy. We're doing the right thing. We're offering them the right compensation. We're not just offering the minimum because we could. We're making sure we're giving them a fair offer.
Everything, I always think to myself, I'm like the commercial for working at Royal. And I'm not nothing I'm saying is untrue. But, especially over the pandemic and just, in general, I'm always gosh, Royal can't get better. It cannot become a better place to work. And it does. And it's just mind-boggling to me how our leaders are always no, we could do that better for team members. Or, wow, we could do that better for our members. And it's just amazing to work here and watch that.
For candidates, that may be entertaining a career move, I challenge them if they're interviewing somewhere other than Royal to ask that organization, hey, you have core values, you might have a core purpose, whatever that statement is, can you tell me how you've lived that particular purpose?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And two, just ask them what they were doing during the pandemic. How did they handle the pandemic for their team members? Because that's kind of important too. I mean, you want to make sure anywhere you're looking to go for a career that they have that stability and you don't have to worry, am I going to get laid off? And I think Royal's done an amazing job of not ever having that come up as a possibility.
I think it comes down to being flexible. We hear flexible, we hear agile, we hear, just being adaptive and being ready for that next whatever curveball that might be coming our way. That's key. And I think, from an organization perspective, we've gotten really, really good at that.
I mean, you could talk about how working for an organization like Royal that has that strong core purpose and core values, that transcends the work that you do every day. That is more than your 9 to 5. That's everything. For a lot of people, your work is your identity as a person. And taking that outside of work, the next step further, I think that's so cool to have the opportunity to do that as a Royal team member. That's more than just the job that you're doing. You get to be proud of what you do, even on the weekend, even after work,
And we strongly encourage volunteer opportunities. I know community engagement always loves to have team members volunteer. Plug for community engagement.
Thank you. Hey, we have some, community member volunteer opportunities coming up too. So
not just team members.
No, keep us in mind.
Yeah,
Rock
members.
the Riverfront, those opportunities. It's a big community event. So we talked about how Royal has an absurd amount of development opportunities, which is true. There's so many, whether it be internal training opportunities, external training opportunities, all of that. And, when we have those options, it's, to develop ourselves, learn new things, grow. But if we talk about development, why does Royal offer those? Why is it important, even not working here, to keep developing your skills? Does that give you a leg up, even if, you're applying for the same position as someone else? Could you get a leg up in pay? Or, how does that really impact that?
I think it shows the initiative of a candidate. If they're actively still pursuing education, even though they have a degree, they're doing online certifications or anything to keep them up to date. Because as we know, everything changes so quickly. I mean, we constantly learn new recruiting techniques or new laws that go into effect. So keeping yourself up to date, especially in the financial world, is really important. from all the regulations, the laws that come through. So anything you can do to like keep yourself in the know and up to date will help you probably stand out to candidates. I think it goes back to the experience and how you stand out on a resume is having all of those different opportunities.
And I think don't hold it to specifically to whatever area that you're trying to improve on, right? Or relevant to the particular job. Anything. Like if you want to learn how to play Cube or, hockey at the age of 38, whatever it is, like you're expanding. You're not just sitting around. Let's just say that.
Those were
Things
really
you've done.
Yeah.
Very
Are you
specific.
38?
Yeah, I'm 38, and I do know how to play
Super
Cube.
old.
I do not play hockey. It would not be a good situation.
We used to play Cube in college. It was pretty fun.
Hey, we should all do a Cube game after this.
I don't actually know how to play. I know you have to
I could teach you.
knock over the king cube and the
Did we already talk about what not to do in interviews?
don't flash fancy socks.
Do
Just kidding. Do
flash
that.
fancy socks. Yep.
Maybe like that's a, top of the resume. I have on great socks. If you would like to see, let me know.
Should have a fun fact section on your resume.
Is that a thing that actually people have? Fun facts?
I don't know.
Occasionally, you'll see something,
Yeah.
from a humor perspective, sprinkled in there.
And I think that's an important, if you're interviewing too, is to ask, how did this position become open? And I think that's the fortunate thing for us is that we've had a lot of ads to staff because our executive and board sees that there's new positions that we need and we need to build it. And so that's why we have a lot of open positions right now is we have those ads that we're trying to fill. So that's always important to know. And I usually talk through that with my candidates to make sure they understand, here's why this position was open.
So my final questions for you, best financial advice that you would give somebody or best advice in general?
I would say create a plan, know where you want to be, whether that's, financially or in your career, and know where you want to be and how you're going to get there. Create those steps so that you're not just going blindly, but knowing that things can happen that can veer you off that course. It's not a straight line.
Say these are going to be two powerful statements, so be ready for it. Don't stop believing.
I knew it.
I thought you were coming back to socks, and I was like,
No,
I'm on board with that.
No. This is
okay.
really
You could probably
impactful
get it
stuff.
back there.
We're at the next level.
So
I
don't
see.
stop believing. And crank that woo knob all the way up. Even if it breaks, crank that woo knob all the way up.
Taking it from 10 to 11. I love it.
Can you imagine if Joe's woo knob broke at the ultimate woo? Like not being able to reel that back in.
Sometimes he is stuck on that ultimate woo for a while.
That's all I'm shooting for. If I can make a positive impact,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, somewhere.
I will say.
That's why I'm here.
The reason I decided to join Royal, I was already going to join, but him and Carrie Helverson in our department created a video and sent me a video about how excited they were to have me join the team.
What?
So talk about sealing the deal. That's like the ultimate. How can you say no?
I
How can
love
you say
that.
no to Joe on video wearing sunglasses?
Yeah,
outside.
I remember it. We had a selfie stick.
Yeah.
And we went down by the river.
May have been a tear shed.
and,
So I was just so excited.
and we sent a very loud and clear message, obviously. Danielle remembers it very,
I
very
do.
clearly.
I do.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I didn't say yes right away. I made Betty wait.
Not cool.
I mean, that's like the ultimate recruiter playing the recruiter. Like,
It's like he knew how to get
Try
me.
recruiting a recruiter. Yeah, that's fun.
That's awesome.
Cooper,
Uh-oh.
if somebody likes Money Donuts, what should they do?
They should subscribe on their favorite podcast listening platform. Leave us a rating and review. Share their woo. Ooh, can you add that to the Spotify one?
Yeah,
Like question of the
like-
what's your woo?
What's your woo? What should the rating be? Like 1 to 10? Where's your woo
probably
at?
1 to 11, I would say, but
Make sure you include 11.
if that's an option, I don't know if that's an option, but
Breaking the knob.
Oh,
Break
breaking
the
the
knob.
knob.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like a fill in the comment section. Oh, genius. Anyway, so yeah, like, comment, subscribe, rate, review.
It does really help spread the word on Money Donuts and lets people know
Yeah.
why it's important to listen.
Share with your friends and family.
James,
Steve,
it's good to see you.
you as well.
All right. Everybody else, we'll see you later. Oh, should we have them sing?
Can you harmonize?
That was not part of the deal.
So what kind of song should we sing?
Don't stop.
I mean, there's that.
Believe it.
Donut. No.
Donut.
All
Stop.
we do is win, no matter what, when it comes to eating donuts and coffee.
Recruiting the
drinking
best
coffee.
talent.
Yeah, recruiting the best.
Apply today.